Hey guys, so the new feature Crystal dropped, and as you can see, I had saved up enough for 8, including the one that I went ahead and bought using the Black ISO market, and we're going to talk about it. So, I'll get my two contradictory conclusions out of the way early. I am pretty disappointed in this crystal, but I am also probably going to open a lot of them, and I'll go over why. So the reason that I'm disappointed is that other than the 6 features, which are pretty solid, although not necessarily the best we've ever seen, there aren't a lot of other huge hits. There's usually, at least a couple of old champions that are amazing to really entice people. So you do have Captain Marvel, that is the Captain Marvel movie, as most people call her, so she is very good. Although it'd kind of be nice to have Nick in here too, since we haven't seen him in a while, and she relies so heavily on him, and vice versa. You have Mr. Fantastic, who I'm a huge fan of. I use him in War all the time. He's one of my top prestige champions. I have a 45-minute guide on him that I'll go ahead and link. I mean, he's an amazing champion, but it's still weird to see him in here because he was in a feature, I think just 2 rounds ago. So, like, only 3 months and a day, right? They don't normally turn them around that quickly. And it's better for us in terms of getting healthier rosters if we're going to bother going for features, if they space them out a little more than that. So that's disappointing. And then I think the only other champion in here who is an automatic win for literally anyone is Sorcerer Supreme. And after that, it drops off significantly. Like, I think that Angela is very good, but she requires an at least moderately high SIG level, which is still very difficult to get on 6-star champions, and she doesn't reward you or with prestige for that investment. Black Panther is at least okay, but he's built around only getting 100% ability accuracy reduction at max SIG, which, as we just covered, is an extremely big investment of resources. Civil Warrior is okay. Ebony Maw is definitely better now. Mojo, I think, is very good, but he's not going to work out for everybody. Sentinel is solid, mainly for earlier accounts, in my opinion, but he's at least okay for most people. I personally think that Storm X is fantastic, and she does have the benefit of not needing her signature ability because it's basically useless. But that in and of itself is also kind of a disappointment for me personally because as I already have her rank 3, pulling her doesn't help me at all. I like champions where you don't need them to be max SIG, but I like to get something when their SIG goes up. And on the subject of that, we can talk about some of these others. I'm sure some of you will object to me not including Black Widow in my list of good champions, but she just has not kept up. Like, she's the headline new cool champion that Kabam put in this one, right? Except she's honestly pretty bad by most objective measures. She wouldn't do anything for me personally unduped. I mean, if you look at her abilities unduped, she has basically 3 categories if you pull her up on Aunt May, and that's it. Her special attacks do a little bit extra critical damage for a while. She has a tiny chance to evade, and her special 3 stuns. End of list. And when you look at her signature ability, which is what she's famous for, if I pull her 4 more times or put all of 80 Sig Stones into her, then she has a 40% reduction to the enemy's ability accuracy while she's hitting them. I mean, it is permanent, but as we just saw, you can put Ronin into, I think it's his guard stance, or no, I think Wraith stance is the one that reduces defensive ability accuracy, and get that same 40% all the time on a champion with way more going on, who also has access to better precision and cruelty as passives, not active buffs. Is just better than her in every way. You go all the way up to SIG 120, you get 65% which is what Daredevil Hell's Kitchen has just by getting him from to 15 combo. And he's not considered that competitive. And even when you max her out, even against science champions, she still doesn't get the same ability accuracy reduction that Falcon does, even though you have to work for his, or that now Ronan can get when you throw his special one, or that Daredevil can get when you pair him with Psylocke or Elektra. She's just not competitive. And so she's, in my opinion, easily the weakest of the champions that Kabam could have included as a new 6-star. Even Iceman has more immunities and works well for encroaching stun and can work as an evade counter. Yeah, it's just very disappointing for me. And then you have the huge misses in here, like Joe Fixit or Deadpool X Force. Nova is a win for me personally because it would dupe my Nova and then I would rank 3 him for defense. But he's not that competitive, right? And sadly, he was already recently buffed, and let's put buffed in giant air quotes here, because he got like a 2-line update that doesn't fix the problems with his kit. You have Hulk, who's not competitive anymore, badly needs an additional buff, because let's remember he was already buffed once before. Like I said, I don't think Civil Warrior is very competitive. It's just a disappointing crystal. But that said, I am going to be opening as many as I can of it because I do want Odin. And if I have him, I probably want him duped at some point. Maybe he's a prestige option. That's not super important to me. I want Shang-Chi. That's actually a huge ask. I don't think he needs his Sig ability that much, and even if I awaken him, low Sig would be great. Silver Centurion seems fun. I don't think he's that important to me. I would like to awaken my Storm X despite what I said, but that is purely for having silver stars on what's already a rank 3. I wouldn't mind getting Sigs on Reed. I badly want Mr. Negative, and any Sigs on him is going to be good. I would love Mojo. I really, really badly want Jabari. Both because I think she's good. I could also put her on defense, but she also pairs extremely well with Tigra and Black Panther, who I have as a max Sig 5-star, and I have the 6-star as well, unduped. So there's too much in here that would be good for me personally, for me to ignore it. But I still think it's disappointing. And if you are still building your account and you don't have a ton of 6-stars and you can't do that kind of analysis where you come up with, yes, I should open this crystal because, then I would skip it. Because for most accounts, both below mine and above mine in terms of progression, this one just isn't worth it. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into me opening 8 of these things, despite not recommending it to most others. It is what it is, right? So this is actually the first time I'm seeing these reels, because earlier I recorded this as my girlfriend opened it for me. She actually does most of my big openings these days. She kind of enjoys it, and it saves me some of the stress of the openings. So we'll see how this goes. And right out of the start, I mean, it would have been nice if it had gone a little further and gotten that Jabari, but like I said, I'd like to dupe her once. This does absolutely nothing for me because this only activates if I get below 12% health. That's what the Sig 20 threshold is, and I don't normally try to plan to fight below 12%, but, you know, silver stars, it's something. I would have really loved for that to have stopped when it looked like it was going to. I probably would have taken Shang-Chi straight to rank 3, honestly. The only thing taking me, or keeping me from ranking Shang-Chi, is if I end up getting Jabari, honestly. Alright, let's see. Okay, I don't mind the rollover on Jabari there, because like I said, Mr. Negative was one of my top asks. So this is huge. I do have a tier 5 science catalyst, so he may go up pending what happens this weekend with 4th of July deals, but we'll see on that. I will definitely be trying him out and seeing how that goes. Well, I'm kind of glad that wasn't Mr. Sinister, but Vulture's a bit of a disappointment. I know some people are a big fan of his buff, but given how reliant it is on either intercepts or the ability to stun, I just don't find his playstyle very practical, even with Tigra, so the SIGs don't really help me. Again, a rollover past Shang-Chi. Doesn't go to Silver Centurion. Like I said, Hulk is basically useless right now. The best thing about that for my account is that he activates a helpful synergy for Silver Surfer. I guess that's something, right? Alright, let's see. Nah. I knew I didn't get Mojo because I did see the results, but that would have been nice. I'll take the dupe on Black Panther, though. I'm not sure he's really worth taking to rank 2 over the 5-star that I already have at SIG 200, but if I'm gonna use him, I don't mind the extra ability accuracy reduction. He would pair well with Jabari if I end up pulling her. Again with the Mojo tease. This one, again, I'm okay with. I really did want a 6-star Odin. I very much like the effect his pre-fights have on Angela, on Surfer, and I also, at least preliminary, very much enjoy playing him. And I would rather invest in the 6-star than in the 5-star, so that's a good pull. Also, the amplitude is better if I am going to use his pre-fights. Tease me with the Odin, and of course I pull Black Widow, because I am going to appreciate her less than almost anyone else. I actually, she was one of the only old god tiers, so to speak, that I had before 12.0. I think I ground her out in her arena and used a generic 4-star gem on her. Just invested a ton in her. And then when she was nerfed, I realized that not only had they hurt her SIG, but her crit boosts suffered hugely from the shift to diminishing returns, and her damage is just awful. Like, she gets a few hundred, I think it's about 500 extra crit rate when she throws her special attacks. In comparison, Elsa Bloodstone gets about 3,200 when she throws her special one. Now, I know the two champions are built differently, but that's a huge difference there. And I just find that, like I said, there's so many limitations to her SIG that I just can't see myself ever choosing to use her when she also doesn't do much damage, and that's all she's really designed to do is damage and turn off abilities, and she's bad at both. Maybe they'll eventually update her again, but for now, that was definitely the worst one in here. Anyway, I can't be too sad about that. I did get, let's call it like 2.5 of my biggest asks. I duped Storm, although I didn't really need that, and I got Odin in negative. I will definitely be ranking them up and playing with them sometime after I see what the deals are on Friday. Not too sad about this, and I will be opening more, like I said, because I'd like to dupe negative, I'd like to dupe Odin, and I want Shang-Chi and Jabari. So I can't hold myself back. So let me know in the comments. I mean, are you guys planning on opening this one? Does it make sense for your account? Are you disappointed? Are you, like me, kind of sad that we didn't also see Iceman or Ghost Rider? I mean, I understand that Kabam's probably holding back on Voodoo, Magic, Hyperion, but would have been nice to have one other new champion in the basic pool after this is done, right? Anyway, like I said, let me know if you're opening these, if you did open them, if you got anything you're happy about, and I will see you guys next time. I think I have a war video that should be dropping tomorrow. Take care.